Good afternoon. It's nice to see you back here. Tell me how your week went.
So last week we had talked about the doing kickball at recess, and I gave it a try. Um, and we went out to recess, and I got one of the utility balls, one of the kickballs, and we started. I started going around and I asked Adam first if he wanted to play kickball. And he said he did. And so the two of us went and we started asking some other friends. And we got Adam and Brandon and Michaela. And we got a few other people all together. And we decided to play kickball. And I was a little surprised that so many people wanted to play, and I didn't think that that many people would actually want to play with us, but I guess a lot of people like kickball. And so we were playing, and it was really fun. And it was nice because, we were all doing real well, and I got a really good kick in like my second time up. But um, Brent, he tried to cut in line and go when it wasn't his turn. And so I tried to make him do the right thing and not go in front. And he was trying to cut in front of Michaela. And, Michaela is not strong enough to stop him. And so I went over and tried to stop him. And we started pushing back and forth, and everything just kind of crumbled at that point because he decided not to follow the rules, and it ruined the whole game for everybody. But we were having a lot of fun too, and like everybody was laughing and having a good time, and everything was going great until he decided to cut in line, and that just ruined everything.
So, I heard you say, at the beginning of the kickball game, things were going really well. And then we came upon the issue of somebody not following the rules. So, you decided to take matters in your own
Well,
hands.
there was no teachers. This is recess, and all the teachers like to go sit together and talk, and they only get involved if like there's a fight. And we didn't fight. It was there was a little pushing, and Adam wasn't involved, and so like Adam wasn't a problem, and he wasn't picking on anybody or anything, and it was just Brent that decided to do it, and he should know better because his dad works at that school, so he should know better. He shouldn't be doing that.
I definitely understand. I've noticed a pattern that we've tended to focus on people must follow the rules all the time, otherwise, they're being mean and they're picking on me.
Well, they're not being mean to me if they're not following the rules, but when I make them follow the rules, that's when a lot of times people get, they get mean because they don't want people making them follow the rules.
Explain a little bit more about why you felt like you were the one that had to solve the problem.
Well, I was the one who started the game, and there were no teachers there. So, well, Adam and I were the team captains because we are the ones that started asking everybody to play. We were the first two, and so we decided since we started, we would be the team captains. And Brent and Adam have been friends for a long time, and so Adam picked Brent to be on his team, but he wasn't stopping his friend from cutting in line, and And so Michaela wasn't going to stop him, so I had to stop him.
Okay, so what, he wasn't cutting in front of you.
No.
So did the other students look like they were upset by it?
Not really. But if I was Michaela, I would have been upset.
So let's talk about, or maybe explain about how we could have handled that a little bit differently.
Like, just not invite him to play in the first place?
Well, you said in the last session that you wanted to make more friends, and so you wanted to invite everyone. And when you had the challenge with Adam, it was because you were trying to enforce the rules because he wasn't following the rules at certain times.
Well,
And so it seems like a similar thing this time.
well, my my dad was in the army, and he makes us follow the rules at home. And then I go to school, and a lot of the kids there are not following the rules, and I don't understand why.
Some people and families may have different expectations at home. Some people may not see cutting in line as a big deal. Some people may not see breaking one rule as a big deal. For you, what you've been telling me is that any rule that's broken is a big deal.
If it's not an emergency, you shouldn't break the rules. We were just playing a game. There was no emergency.
Okay. And I thank you for sharing that with me. So let's think about what we should do next time if we should ever have a situation like this.
If they're not going to follow the rules, then why should I follow the rules? I mean, if I went home and I told my parents that I didn't follow the rules, then I would get in trouble. And I won't be able to watch TV, or I won't be able to do fun things on the weekend, or, it just, I'll get grounded for something if I'm not following the rules. And so it it's not fair that other kids don't follow the rules, because if I didn't follow the rules, I'd get in trouble. And they're not, the teachers don't make them, and I don't know, maybe their parents aren't making them. I don't know. But why don't they follow the rules?
It's definitely a challenging question why some people make choices, some people make other choices. So, in the situation, in most of the situations, you're perceiving it something as not following the rules. Before, when we were at the basketball game, you thought that we were not following the rules because they weren't passing you the ball enough.
Because the play was that if I'm open, they're supposed to pass me the ball. Because I'm the one with the open shot. They should pass me the ball while I'm open, and they didn't.
So, do you know the reason? So, what was the reason why this other student cut in front?
He wanted to kick the ball. He's better. He can kick the ball a lot harder than Michaela can. So, I don't know. He wanted to win, I guess. He was cheating.
Explain a little bit more about the cheating part.
Well, if you're playing a game, you have to go in order. You know, if you watch the Astros, you know, you can't have Jordan Alvarez batting in every inning because he's better. You know, sometimes the bad players have to hit too, and you know, everybody has to go in turn. Everybody has to go in order. It was Michaela's turn. It was not Brent's turn, and he just wanted to score more points, so he was cutting, and that's cheating, and that's not following the rules.
Okay.
And nobody was making him follow the rules, so I had to make him follow the rules.
Explain to me a little bit more. We've talked about it before, about what it is about following the rules that makes it so important to you.
I have to follow the rules. Why don't they have to follow the rules?
Have you always followed the rules?
Unless it's an emergency.
So, obviously, this case, it wasn't an emergency, but this case, it didn't really involve you at all other than the game.
Well, if he kicked the ball, then I was going to lose.
So, you're telling me you just didn't want him to play next?
No, because he beat me. He kicks really hard.
Okay. So, I can understand that's kind of the point of the game, is to score more points. And did we find out a reason why maybe he decided to cut
Because
in line?
recess was almost over and his team was losing by one, and he just wanted one last kick before we had to go back in. And I didn't want him to get that point. I wanted Michaela to kick because she usually just kicks it up in the air and we could catch it. But he wanted to kick, and that means he would have won the game. And then he would have probably been bragging about it and saying how much better than me he was. And I didn't want to listen to that.
So I noticed you're changing your voice and you're kind of arching your eyebrows a little bit when you talk about, I mean, nobody likes to lose, but you seem very frustrated at the situation. And I noticed by your voice and your change in your voice, that's kind of how it was when you were talking about Adam before. You got a lot of frustration about the situation.
Well, Brent and Adam, you know, they're both on the basketball team, and they're two of the guys that weren't passing me the ball. And I mean, they're better at me than a lot of sports, and I don't want them to keep telling me that they're better or that they won. I want to win.
Well, everyone wants to win. That's kind of the goal of the game. But one thing was positive. Before the incident, you were able to get the game together. So let's talk a little bit of how we could change the situation so that it could be different next time and that you could have some more friends like we talked about.
Well, it was pretty neat because we had a lot of people playing. And sometimes we play kickball and it's only like 4 people on a side. And this time we had almost an entire team on both sides. And that was fun. If recess had been just 5 minutes shorter, it would have been perfect because everybody was having a good time and my team was winning. We did really well, and I feel like if that would have just stopped 5 minutes earlier, then it would have been perfect.
So we talked about things that we can control versus things we can't control. generally we can play our best and we can do our best, but we can't really control the outcome of the game. We know what time recess starts and ends, so that's something that we can't really adjust very much. But we can control our attitudes and how we solve our situations.
Okay.
So next time, I would like to see you try again. And this time, let's think about a way that we can change maybe the outcome of the end of the game. The first one was positive, but then the negative was at the end. Okay?
Maybe I should just tell Adam and Brent that, you know, I that playing fair is really important to me, and I want to have fun, but I want to play by the rules.
Okay, you can explain that to them. So try it this week, and then next week when you come back, we can see if we have a little bit of a better outcome. Okay?